Hello, everybody. Did you ever have one of them days? We got one today. Have you ever also had one of them uncles at a party when he starts saying, these three people walked into a bar? I happen to have two of them other people. Welcome to the three podcasters walk into a bar. First around the corner, we've got David Blackman. He is the author extraordinaire, contributing author to Forbes. He's on the Energy Question, which is knocking it out of the park. Got some big names around there. And then he's also on the Energy Transition with Irina Slav and Armando and Tammy. Welcome, David.
Hey, man. How you guys doing today? It's a beautiful day in Texas, as usual.
Yep. Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yes, it
Next
is.
around the corner, we've got the RT. RT is one of them big dog EMP kind of guys over there at Pecos Operating Corporation. And RT's also the podcast host for the Crude Truth, an amazing piece of work out there. Everybody's got to follow RT on LinkedIn and everything else. Welcome, RT. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes. Thank you so much. The Crude Truth, I've been blessed. It's really done very well. I can't believe it. Thank you to everybody that listens to both shows. And speaking of shows, be sure to like, subscribe to Three Podcasters Walk Into a Bar. I like to think that it gets to see me, Stu, and the infamous David Blackman in a somewhat of a different light, not necessarily too serious, but we still talk about serious subjects as if we're just sitting around the bar and sitting on bar stools having a cold one. And I know I'm excited about this summer. We'll be out at a few different locations, so be ready for that. To all our listeners out there.
Boy, well, you nailed that. And I forgot to introduce myself. My name's Stu Turley, President and CEO of the Sandstone Group. I got me the Energy News Beat podcast, daily stand up, and also the other one, which is the Energy News Beat podcast, where I interview CEOs and industry thought leaders. Anyway, with that, I'd like to start out with my first story about JP Morgan Chase. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, I just wanted to rag on you a little bit real quick before we jumped into this news. I mean, I can't believe you didn't introduce yourself first. I mean, you're the one wearing the quote unquote 10-gallon hat today. So we know when you walk into a place, but I mean, I know that lately you have just been rocking and rolling with Energy Newsbeat. I mean, what have you guys been doing over there to where you really are kind of like, oh, wait, okay. This is where I'm at right now with Three Podcasts. What's going on?
Oh, hey, thank you, RT. One of the big things is we've been averaging about 25,000 on the low end of visitors on the website, and it goes up all the way up to 65,000. It depends on what kind of things we've got going on. It is some of the best energy stories. I look at just about every story that goes on out there. And that's where I get my knowledge. Besides the stuff I steal from Irina Slav and David, I'm just kidding on that. But the energy.
No, you're not.
I do want to say, because of you guys, the Crude Truth and the Energy Question and the Energy Transition Weekly, and the Energy Newsbeat podcast, our podcast family is on target for the 1 million downloads this year in 2023. And it looks like October, if we just hit our numbers that we're currently hitting. So hats off to you guys. So, hey, very well done. And RT, thanks for the question.
And that's the energynewsbeat.com, correct? Where everybody gets all their daily oil and gas information, and not just oil and gas, but all energy news.
International, geopolitical, financial, and it's all about nobody really covers the geopolitical, financial, and energy combined because they're all interrelated. And as we know in Arkansas, they are interrelated. So
Moving on.
Hey,
No
we've
disrespect
insulted
to any of our
Arkansas now. Let's
Arkansas
go to the
listeners.
next day.
Okay. Hey, JP Morgan, I love me some Jamie Dimon. And the title of this article on the Energy News Beat, thank you, RT. JP Morgan Chase goes full fascist. Let me back up a little bit. I was chit-chatting with David before RT stumbled into the podcast. And when I love me some Jamie Dimon when he stood in front of the bar, or excuse me, the Congress. And what was his quote? He said,
Yeah,
We
we
need
stop
more
investing
oil.
in fossil fuels, it puts us on the highway to hell.
Yeah.
Or the
Highway
road
to
to
hell.
hell. The road
Oh.
to hell.
I mean, everybody started dancing like a cowboy out there going, that was a great line. This article then now starts talking about his eminent domain where he wants to go out and start. Caption says, everybody doing renewable energy needs to go out and then all of a sudden just start taking whatever land they need. Because we know wind farms and solar, hey, we need all energy. I'm okay with that, but it takes up a lot of land. He says, go ahead and just wipe out everybody's house, take eminent domain, do whatever you got to do, wipe out the whales, anybody. And I just find that despicable. What do you guys
Well, I
think?
think it's a dangerous notion because when you say that, well, we just need to take people's land, whatever we need to facilitate wind and solar. Well, then you're just one step away from saying, well, I think we need to just steal every election for the people who want to do what we want them to do, right?
Whoa.
Fix the elections to ensure that you don't get another Trump presidency that interrupts the road to renewable paradise. And literally, that's just one step away from there. So it's a very dangerous notion that's antithetical to a Republican democracy like we supposedly have here in the United States.
Wow, man, David, you just kind of took it in a whole different way right there.
Well, it's true. I mean,
no, you are absolutely right. Before I get started, I think Jamie Dimon is and I don't know the man personally, so I guess this is my opinion, and we all know what we all have, what every human has, opinions and something else, and some people think they all stink. But he's a very smart man. I think since J.P. Morgan, which was a century ago, have we not seen a banker like this? So for him to come out 2-3 months ago and say, hey, man, you get rid of fossil fuel today, it's the highway to hell. And then for him to come out with, hey, if we want to make this, wind and solar work, eminent domain, there's a reason behind it. Obviously, he's playing the game no different than a politician. And I think what he could be possibly doing is riling up the base that he has created by saying getting rid of fossil fuels is a highway to hell. Because let's be honest, there is no clear path today for renewable energy to be sustainable, abundant, and inexpensive for the next 30 years. So with him saying eminent domain, that really should hopefully worry some people and go, wait a minute, this is serious. We can't be doing this. And maybe that's where this little riling up might come from. But from face value, no, absolutely, this is not cool. And it does then lead towards us taking away other rights, not us, but others that may be empowered to deal with the bureaucracy in a way that does lead towards other things disappearing and so on and so forth of our freedoms. Because eminent domain, I am not for it at all. The people need to pay for the property that they're going to buy. I have to, you have to. So that's kind of my, long 2 cents on this whole article.
Oh yeah, fantastic, David, fantastic points.
we've lost your audios. Oh, there you go.
There you are.
Oh, hey,
We had lost
fantastic.
your audio.
Oh, well, I lost my audience. It's kind of like when you say over time, you've heard me say in the past, if you're going to be impotent, you might as well look impotent. And I think Jamie Dimon does look impotent, but I think, guys, you both had some fabulous points. But do you think, and let me ask this, if his being charged with the Epstein Island is now, maybe he's being blackmailed, RT, this could be leaning up on you, bringing it up that he's trying to pacify his base. And so if he's trying to pacify his base, that could mean that he's also being blackmailed because he was on them express planes to the island.
Man, that's a fun one right there. I love it. Bringing out a little CT right there, conspiracy theory on. I love it on the on three podcasters. Who knows? I hope
Speaking
not.
of the Crude
And,
Truth,
I hope not. And but we can see. Time will tell. Time will tell. We all have our influences that guide us in one direction or the other. I will say that.
it would not surprise me if somebody blackmailed him, kind of like Bill Clinton or anybody. Somebody could have blackmailed him. Bill Gates, don't know.
Bill Gates.
Who knows?
I heard it was Richard Nixon.
Hey, Bill Gates's name is also on those flight logs. Let's if we're gonna go down the Epstein Island road. So,
And I still have the claim to fame. The only time I ever met Bill Gates, I thoroughly hacked him off. Could not be any more proud. That's almost as bad as being on the UN banning Irina Slav and I on one of our podcasts. To get banned by the the UN, that's a badge of honor. Packing off Bill Gates, that's even a bigger bag. What a interesting guy. Well, anyway, what are you guys up to talking about?
well, you want to talk about renewables and the special needs that the wind industry has. It's a special needs industry.
All right, I'm going to interrupt one last second. I promise I'll shut up. RT, don't throw up. Good grief. I always drive by some of the neighborhoods and you see this picture of a kid running across the road and it says slow children. Is it because they're slow children or slow?
I think you're missing the point of those signs too, but
is it because the
by
children?
By the way, I'm afraid that this podcast is having an impact on our reputations, boys. When I used to, I do some public speaking, and I used to, when you go give a talk,
right,
you'd get a speaker's gift. It'd be a little plaque or a statue or acrylic statue or something with an inscription on it, and and then they went to the Yeti cups, right? Everybody has a Yeti cup giveaway, The last several speaking engagements I've done, they've started giving me alcohol as a speaker's gift. I've gotten on my last 3 speaking engagements, the speaker's gifts have been a bottle of whiskey, a bottle of vodka, and then last night the Nomads group down in Houston, I went and spoke to them. Gave me a very nice bottle of Cabernet, California Cab, as a speaker's gift. So I'm getting a bad reputation hanging out with you guys. I just want to put that out there into the ether.
It's the only way people can make you smile.
Yeah.
You are so, when you're talking to other executives, you know what you're doing. You are an industry thought leader. And we're the only reason you smile. So either
okay, all right.
Or you're
I do that podcast with Irina Slav, man. You talk about smiling and laughing. Holy cow. Every time Irina starts talking, she cracks me up.
I actually got through talking to her at Bulgaria at 7 a.m. this morning, and it was 2 p.m. her time this morning. So she said to say hi, by the way.
I have enjoyed, I got to interview all of y'all on the energy transition, right, David? And she is witty. It's hilarious.
She's hilarious. And Tammy is too, really.
well, all those UK people, all those European people, they and I'll put Miss Irina in, even though she's in the I know she's in Bulgaria, but what part is that? Is that Eastern? What is that? Eastern
It's
Europe?
southeastern Europe. Yes.
Okay. But no, yeah, it's a good one, and I know I've seen with that bottle, one of those bottles that they gave you there when you were down in Houston, and I mean it was a
that
fancy looking bottle.
Fancy bottle, right? Yeah, man. I'm afraid to open it. It's an heirloom. Anyway, and I stopped by Buc-ee's on the way home this morning. Had
shout out to Buc-ee's,
my big Diet Coke to get me home. Yeah, shout out to Buc-ee's. Holy cow, you talk about a successful business. Anyway, the wind industry. So we're talking about wind and its special needs. And so, we have a burgeoning offshore wind industry in the Atlantic coast that the Biden administration thinks is gonna do away with all other forms of energy, I guess, in New Jersey. And of course, they did a site survey last fall for the first one, and 24 wells have washed up dead on the Jersey shores since then. And yesterday, the Biden administration thought that was such a great deal that they put out a proposed permit for a second site survey for a second big offshore wind project, in which it estimates, this is the NOAA, estimates that over almost 5,000 marine mammals will suffer, quote, adverse impacts as a result of the site survey for this second big offshore wind project. It's going to be sited, by the way, this project and the first one too, both will be sited in whale migration corridors off the Atlantic coast. Okay, they're going to be right in the middle of the migration path for right whales and gray whales up and down the Atlantic coast, just like we have all these wind farms in South Texas that are sited right in the middle of migratory bird corridors, and they kill thousands and thousands of migratory birds. Well, now we have the Biden administration permitting, what did I say? Adverse impacts.
Yeah, adverse impact
on almost 5,000 marine mammals, which includes whales and dolphins and seals and porpoises. So this is your green energy in action, folks. This is the reality of the wind industry. It not only eats up all this acreage of land and has an enormous carbon footprint with all the concrete and rare earth metals that they use that have to be mined. And I just passed 3 big 150-foot long wind blades being transported up I-45 this morning in big 18-wheelers that run on diesel. Huge carbon footprints for a wind farm. This is your green energy in action. It's a killer. And by the way, those offshore wind farms, whether they'll ever be hooked up to the grid is an open question. I mean, you have offshore wind farms off the coast of England that have been sitting now for 2 years waiting to be hooked up into the power grid in England. And so it's energy that we don't need. It's not necessary to build these offshore wind farms. There's no need for them. They don't serve any real purpose in our society. But they're getting all this federal money to be built, and all these marine mammals are going to die to ensure they get built. So that's my rant for the day.
No wonder you're getting drunk all the time.
Yeah, man, I need another swig of
that's
tobacco.
I know that's depressing. If that doesn't, a preacher once used to always tell us, if that don't light your fire, your wood's wet. Well, dang, that's depressing, and that my wood is wet. I believe in a greener tomorrow. I believe in a better tomorrow. And I do know that the life in the water is what sustains the entire world. And I find it mind-boggling that when I go into a new area to drill a well, I have to do an ecological assessment on every damn animal that lives in the area and how this may impact them from me clearing out 1 to 5 acres, depending on how deep the well is, and my road getting there.
Oh, you know how big, by the way, the geographic footprint of this wind farm is?
No, how big?
2,200 square miles, 2,200 square miles, not 6 acres, 2,200 square miles. Anyway, go ahead.
Jeez. And so now they're going to call it adversity, animal adversity or something like that, David.
Adverse impact. Yes.
Adverse impact. And if I've got a prairie chicken that'll shut down my 1 acre plot to drill an oil well, this is literally watch what I'm doing over here and raising a ruckus while I go over here and ruin the world. This is literally a path to destruction of the world. If we ruin our oceans, this will ruin the world and our ecology, our environment, and everything around it. What happened to the days of save the whales? I mean, I think we're on a 4-letter word that says, by lack of a better word, that's buck the whales these days. And, oil and gas, Stu, you said it best a while back. You know what? It's going to be time for oil and gas to save the whales again. And maybe we need to get on board. Look, if they want to have wind farms, I bet the state of New York would love to turn the entire state of New Jersey into a wind farm. All right. I know Rosanna Dana would like that. For all those out there, I remember that great character on Saturday Night Live by Gilda Radner. God knows she didn't like New Jersey. And I know a lot of New Yorkers don't either. So let them turn all of New Jersey into a wind farm and let's save the whales.
I wonder what Roseanne's father, Stan Rosanna Dana, would have to say about it.
That's funny.
It's always something.
We only got about 3 more minutes, but my only thing about the wind farm is the fact that the reason that we are printing money to cause inflation in order to do that is so that we can give more money to China, since China is responsible for making 80% of the products used in solar and wind. And those kickbacks, I think, are going to politicians around the world. That is a conspiracy theory. There is no proof. On the other hand, I think it's a reason that they are, in fact, printing money, leaving the wind farms not hooked up. And then it's like Synoptic. It was the company that Hunter Biden owns or owned. I'm not sure if he sold part of it. They are now building a hydrogen pipeline, and I wonder if 10% of it is going to the big guy. Not sure. 10% is going to the big guy in order to pay for the wind farms.
Stu, I want to say this to all our listeners out there, that we give the subsidies and over 90% of the wind blades are made in China. So that money has to go there. So that's the crude truth. The other part we can look at as a conspiracy theory, but the point is those subsidies are going to China. Those subsidy dollars are going to China, and that's the crude truth. The other parts we cannot worry, let's take out the conspiracy parts. But when 90% of wind blades are built in China and a lot of green energy products are made in China, and those subsidies, absolutely, you are correct on that one. I got your back on that, my friend.
Thank you, RT. Hey, for all of our listeners out there, find us on energynewsbeat.com and follow us, like us, subscribe, hit that subscribe button. We thank everyone for making this show and all of our other shows very successful. RT, how do they find you?
Oh, yes. Please check me out on Twitter. I have a Twitter account. It's called the Truth_Crude. Also, I am on LinkedIn at the Crude Truth as well. And check out my website, thecrudetruth.com, where you can also find some great news and my most up-to-date interviews. My most recent ones have been with the great David Blackman and his energy transition team, and with some great podcasting people, Jeff Crilly and Sarah Crilly, his daughter, who have another good podcasting group as well. So check them out.
You can find me at blackman.substack.com, and it links to everything I do. I'm on Twitter, at Energy Absurdity is my Twitter handle. And go to LinkedIn. You can either look me up by name or just put in hashtag Energy Absurdity and I'll come up. And it's a lot of fun.
Hey, till next time, make sure that that crazy uncle says, when I got three guys walking into a bar, you think of us.
I know those guys.